TIFU, by not paying attention when wiping. So here we go. For a bit of context, I am just about to finish a hellish 112-hour work week. I am truly exhausted, falling asleep spontaneously throughout the day, sometimes with my eyes open. My diet has been just awful, and I haven't been able to look after myself at all. Long story short, my body is in tatters. So this morning, I rise at my usual time and feel I can go to the gym, try and get a bit of normality back into my routine. I head to the kitchen, have some breakfast, and guzzle down a double scoop of pre-workout to help me get going. As I leave, I throw away the containers from last night's takeaway. Remember this, as it will be important for later. I hit the gym, I feel like death, but I push through as best I can, and I call it when my little tummy starts to tell me all is not well down here, boss. I listen to my body, and I head home. I make it to the toilet. The caffeine and motivation had worn off, and there I sit, upon my throne, my arse falling apart like a wet newspaper. Tears in my eyes. It's Oak, dude, one more day and you have a break. You can rest tomorrow, I tell myself. I look at the shower. I've been on the toilet for nearly 20 minutes. My legs are dead, but I have to flush the honey chili chicken, silly amounts of coffee, and pre-workout fueled mess I have created. I must make it to the shower. I can wash off this filthy feeling and get back into bed for an hour. I finish my ablutions. I wave goodbye to the contents of my haggard body as I make my way to the shower. But what's this? An itch in my nose. My left nostril, to be specific. Without thinking, I jam my little finger up in there and have a good dig about. I smell... What's that? No, it can't be. It dawns on me, the all-too-familiar smell of shit. I look at my finger in disbelief. I washed my hands. How has this happened? A streak, nay, a nugget of poop with the consistency of hot tar has just been lodged in my nostril. My eyes begin to burn. Remember the chili chicken takeaway? Can I smell it, you ask? We've gone beyond smell. I can fucking taste it. I retch, but not too loudly. My partner is asleep, and God forbid I wake her because I have just wedged my own shit in my nose. Frantically, I get the shower head and body wash to try and flush out the dirt from my poor nostril. I finish my shower, but I am shaken. Here I lie, in bed, my nostril burning from the cleanup and a strong sense of disgust washing over me. I've got chili in my eye before, who hasn't? Hell, I've even managed to get a bit of toothpaste in my eye before. But this is a new one. I feel like a literal shit-brained zombie. Have a blessed Monday, internet people, TLDR. Didn't pay attention to correct hygiene as a result of exhaustion. Rammed my own poo up my nose. TIFU by changing the curriculum in 9th grade. We watched American History X in my 9th grade class. It's a powerful film, but it's loaded with profanity. Following that, we were given a creative writing task to write a new scene. Prompt: write a continuation of American History X. Use a character from the movie, like Derek or Danny, and introduce a new character of your making. Their conversation should revolve around past mistakes, personal growth, and future aspirations. Given the green light to use explicit language, which was a big deal for a 14-year-old, I went all out and wrote the most expletive-laden piece I could think of. Trust me, if you've seen the movie, my script wouldn't feel out of place. Proudly, I handed it to my teacher. Fast forward a few days, my parents get a call from the principal. The school was considering suspending me due to the obscene language in my assignment. I tried to explain to my parents that the film we watched in class was just as explicit, if not more so. Deciding to verify for themselves, my parents watched the movie and then pulled up reviews from Common Sense Media to back me up. Armed with this, they scheduled a chat with the principal and managed to get the suspension scrapped. In a twist I didn't see coming, the school decided to remove American History X from the curriculum. TLDR. After viewing American History X in school, I peppered my creative writing assignment with so much profanity that the school decided to drop the movie from the curriculum. TIFU, by not going in for a kiss. This happened last night, but I went straight to bed after. I, 21M, met this amazing woman on a dating app, and we went on 2 really fun dates. Last night I asked her if she wanted to go out again, and we went for a drive and chatted for a few hours. We both had a great time, and at the end when I dropped her off, we hugged and she moved in for a kiss. My probably autistic and socially anxious brain sort of moved to the side expecting a kiss on the cheek, and then she pulled me back into the hug. I didn't think much of it, but she walked to her door without a word after I said bye. When I texted her when I got home, she said I didn't seem to want the kiss, and I explained my lack of experience, only ever had one date with previous people, and my social anxiety. But she seems upset and distant now. I know I probably dodged a bullet if a small thing like that on the third date makes her think I am not interested or something, but I felt like venting to you lovely strangers. It's most likely over, but I enjoyed our short time together and am slightly upset. It ended this way. TLDR didn't kiss her at the end of the third date. She seems upset and doesn't seem to want to talk anymore. TIFU by reheating a Dollar Tree spicy beef Jamaican patty in a travel oven in my car. Yeah, I forget things. The soda in the freezer, the pot of grits on the stove, and in this case, the Dollar Tree spicy beef Jamaican patty I reheated and forgot. The T in TIFU doesn't refer to today in my case. It refers to Tuesday 3 months ago, back in June. My car died in Denver while on a cross-country road trip from WA to FL. I forgot about the patty in the travel oven, dropped the car off on Planet Hyundai, unaware of the horror that would later unfold. I returned to the car after 3 months. The car had been sitting in the Denver sun in a parking lot behind the service department at the dealership. I could detect something a little funky in the car but couldn't put my finger on it. Drove the car back to California and emptied it out. One of the things I took out was the travel oven. Opening it was a supremely bad idea. That only made it angry. I can still taste the smell, which I would describe as tenderloin homeless guy feet with a touch of rancid baby vomit dusted with a hint of raccoon fart. I will be disposing of the travel oven somewhere appropriate. Maybe an incinerator at the Concord Naval Weapons Station? TLDR. Don't reheat Dollar Tree Jamaican patties and leave them for 3 months in your car. TIFU by putting 17% salicylic acid on my open hand wound when I thought it was liquid bandage. I had cut my hand pretty bad, and it was in a spot where bandages would always fall off, so I wanted to use some liquid bandage on my wound. I knew we had some in the medicine cabinet, so I grabbed what I thought was the liquid bandage, but it turned out to be the Corn and Callus Remedy 17% salicylic acid instead that I put on. It had been a long time since I ever used liquid bandage, so I felt that the extreme burning sensation was the stuff killing whatever was in my cut. It was actually just burning the skin around my wound and inside my wound. It also dried all white and not clear, which I also thought was weird. The dumb part was that I went back and reapplied the same stuff later that day when it all dried out. I thought to myself, this stuff should last longer and not dry out, but I figured maybe it was just a little expired. I only realized I was using the wrong stuff when I went to apply some more the next day and saw the actual liquid bandage bottle behind what I was using. That's when I read the label and was like, oh shit. I Googled if you can put salicylic acid on open wound and it was like, nope, but I don't think it did permanent damage, although the wound is now larger than before. But I have put actual liquid bandage on it and I'm sure it will heal up just fine. Also, my wife thought I was really dumb. TLDR. Thought I was using liquid bandage on an open wound. Turned out it was Corn and Callus salicylic acid. TIFU by throwing a banana peel in the trash. A number of years ago as a teenager, I used to work in a facility that used large machinery to fabricate aluminum components. These machines would often get hot when cutting and tooling the aluminum, so they had large tanks storing non-organic cooling fluid that would get sprayed through large hoses onto the superheated tools. This is important to the scenario, which is why I'm bringing it up now. So imagine a large tank behind the machine, with a pump that pulls large amounts of cooling fluid into a secondary cleaning reservoir, where machine oils could be skimmed from the system, from which it gets sprayed onto quickly rotating superheated cutting tools as they churn through chunks of aluminum. This is the best I can articulate this concept to the average layperson. Anyway, I had been working there for a while, and my job generally didn't involve interacting with the machinery or their cooling systems very much. They had a dedicated guy who managed that. He was a good guy and definitely didn't deserve what was coming. That day, I had taken a banana to work as part of my lunch, but I was often too busy to take a de facto lunch break. Instead, I would eat at my desk. Naturally, I decided to throw the banana peel into the garbage. There was an oily little red garbage can, about the size of a large gallon coffee grind container, with a handle on one side, about 12 feet away from my desk, sitting on a table beside some tools. A bit of an odd place for a garbage can, I thought to myself, but I didn't think any further as I Jordaned that banana peel into the garbage can. Perfect shot, It slopped right in, and the can must have been empty because I couldn't see it poking over the top. I thought nothing of it and continued my day. About an hour or two later, though, I heard a loud exclamation and a, "What the F?" from one of the operators of a nearby machine. I turned to see him staring in horror through the plexiglass operating window of his machine, along with a few other guys, so I go over to see what the issue is. Lo and behold, the machine's large circular tool is grinding through aluminum and steaming and smoking, so the operator hits emergency stop and the machine grinds to a halt. For some reason, the cooling system hadn't been spraying on the tool, so the tool had overheated and was essentially melting its way through the aluminum. These tools are quite expensive, and now this one was ruined. After a short inspection, we found the problem. Something was blocking the cooling fluid jet that normally sprayed onto the tool, right near the opening. There it was. A banana peel, soaked in cream-colored cooling fluid, wedged halfway through the nozzle by the high pressure of the pump behind it. They couldn't just pull it out either because of the pressure built up by the pump, which, it turns out, had burned out due to trying to overpressurize the cooling line that was jammed by the banana peel. The mechanic came by and had the whole machine shut down completely and said, "Some dumbass threw a banana peel into the cooling tank. Whoever did that, you just cost the company a lot of money." I made myself scarce, because even though I was certain it wasn't me, I didn't want to be a suspect. After all, I had eaten a banana that day, and even though I disposed of the peel properly, I couldn't help but feel vaguely guilt for the incident. Then I saw on my way back to my desk that the garbage can was gone. This made me a bit panicky because I didn't want to be unfairly suspect. So I did a quick double take to find the garbage can and saw that it was laying on its side beside the cooling tank of the afflicted machine, with some oil and grease dripping out of it. I immediately sought out the cooling system manager and asked him about the garbage can, and he told me, "That thing? Oh, I use that to skim oil and impurities out of the cooling fluid tanks." So the only thing I could think of was that I had unwittingly thrown my banana peel in there, and he had used it without looking inside it. And the peel had somehow slipped out of the garbage can and into the cooling tank, made it through the pump, and gotten lodged in the cooling nozzle in the machine. So it was my banana and my lack of critical thinking skills that had cost the company over $10,000. I was never discovered. TLDR, accidentally threw my banana peel into a cooling system of an industrial machine, and it gummed up the entire system, costing a lot of money. Please like and subscribe for more daily content.